Objective knowledge and subjective knowledge. Hello, this is Shores of Infinity with your host Chris speaking. Today a video about objective and subjective knowledge. I had some discussions with a few of you recently, and the question came up, what is objective knowledge? Is there such a thing as objective knowledge from a spiritual point of view? From a materialistic point of view, of course, there is subjective and objective knowledge, and there are a lot of scientists or religious leaders who claim that they have access to objective knowledge. Yet can this be true? Because we know from science that what we know now will be outdated in 10 or 20 years. So if it's wrong, it turns out to be wrong or partially wrong in a few years or decades, how can it be objective knowledge? It's just wrong. It's just what is assumed to be right at the moment. In religion, it's based upon belief, something that you cannot prove. So you cannot know if it might be objective knowledge, but you cannot know. So, from a spiritual point of view, all knowledge is subjective. There is no objective knowledge. Objective in relation to what? There might be a divine, an absolute, that whatever has objective knowledge. Maybe. But we as human beings are very, very unlikely to ever enjoy objective knowledge. We cannot be objective. We always relate everything we seem to know to something else. We cannot know everything, so the knowledge cannot be objective. It's always subjective. It's always just a part of the whole. And the difference between someone who is enlightened and someone who is not enlightened is in this regard that enlightened people know that everything is subjective. Even and especially what they experience to be correct. They know that this is just a state. This is just a stage I'm going through. And in another state, a stage, in another moment, something else might appear to be true or real. But mostly everything is just a snapshot of the moment, and thus it cannot be objective. It's always subjective. No matter what you think it is, it's always subjective. And this is not a bad thing. It's just in our modern scientific thinking, we think, okay, subjective is bad and objective is good. Or objective is real and subjective means you're just imagining it. It's not really happening. That's bullshit. That's of course not the case. Things are happening and we can perceive, we can experience some of them. And then we extract some information out of it, and then this is what we call knowledge. Probably the word knowledge is the problem. We cannot really know anything. We can only experience things and perceive things. Yeah. It's sensations. We have sensations, and then we deduct or induct information from it based upon previous sensations and experiences. Even if you manage to be totally in the moment, in the now, and not compare what you're experiencing right now with anything you've experienced before, or with, even if you're completely free of brainwashing, still, this is a snapshot of the moment and has nothing to do with knowledge. It's neither objective nor subjective. It's just how it appears to be now, how it is experienced now, how it is perceived now. If you need to put it into categories like objective and subjective and knowledge and imagination, then it's always subjective. And if you want to be really radical, it's always imagination. Because we don't really have a framework. We always pretend to have a framework that really works. But these are closed systems. Every framework, every body of knowledge that seems to be logical and graspable, understandable, true, and so on, provable, is a closed system. And every closed system is, by definition, subjective. It only works as long as you stay within the closed system. If you leave the closed system, everything is open, everything is up for grabs. So, don't worry about objective, don't worry about knowledge, everything is subjective. But that doesn't invalidate the experience. To the contrary. Intense experience and sensation in the moment is the most valuable thing. Because it is now. It might not be in the future and might not have been before, but it is now. This is much more reliable in a sense than brainwashing, than hearsay. What someone else said, claimed, maybe has proven under certain circumstances. Okay, that's it for today about objective and subjective and knowledge. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for joining me on Patreon. It means a lot if you support the channel. Patreon is a possibility to offer a few bucks a month for an online artist like this channel. Thank you for those who are already supporting this channel on Patreon, and see you soon.